Good evening, everybody. My name is Tarika, and I am super excited. I'm really thrilled tonight to have this amazing opportunity to host here on these special times, very difficult times for us here in Israel. My beloved teacher, Sakino, and her beloved partner, Dr. Irvin Yalom. And I am really, really touched to have this very rare and great opportunity to have this heart-to-heart conversation with them. So good to see you. So, Sakino and Irvin, I am super excited and delighted and touched by this generous offer of yours to share your heart, share your insights, and just to support us on this really crazy times that we are going through here. Your support is so meaningful. And just before we start, I would like to introduce you both. So I think, well, Dr. Yalom, I think we don't need to introduce so much, but just in case some of the people here are not familiar or just by chance joined in or watching us on Facebook, I would say that I am really honored to have you here. And Dr. Irvin Yalom is an existential psychiatrist and a professional and the professor emeritus of psychiatry in the Stanford University School of Medicine. His books are in nearly 30 languages, and millions of copies have been sold worldwide. They include When Nietzsche Wept, Becoming Myself, The Gift of Therapy, The Theory and Practice of Group Psychotherapy, and many other classic textbooks which have trained generations of therapists. So, Dr. Yalom, I am really honored to have you here. Thank you. And my beloved Sakino, my dear teacher, friend, which I love so much. Your support is always enormous. And just to introduce you to all these beautiful people here. So Sakino Matilda Sternberg. Sakino is a clinical psychologist with over 45 years of experience in various fields of therapy and counseling. Sakino specializes in systemic family therapy and constellation, trauma therapy, and more. She facilitates workshops and trainings courses in Europe and around the world. So I am really honored and excited to be here with both of you. And I think we all, I'm speaking in the name, are really honored and touched by this generous and amazing offer of yours. So I am written many things because I am so excited. So I just wanted to really, as much as possible, just create this space here and then allow this conversation to unfold.
Thank you.
So I would like to ask you, and I guess everybody here would love to hear that. Maybe you can share with us, what is your connection to Israel and what actually made you say yes to this offer that I have made this request. So
Israel has been very important to me in my life. So my parents decided after World War I that there was too much anti-Semitism in Russia where they were living, and they decided to come to America, there was if there had been in Israel, they certainly would have gone there. It was their dream that there would be a home for the Jewish people because there was anti-Semitism everywhere they looked. So my father had an older brother, Meyer, who had a little grocery store in Washington, and Meyer told him, come to Washington and we'll help you set up a store. So Meyer, so he came over with the help of Meyer. And then when my father came to the United States, he had a small little grocery store, and then he brought his sister, Tante Hannah, then came over, and then another sister, Lena, came over, and then they finally, years later, they brought over my Uncle Abe. Uncle Abe's family never could get out. They were killed by the Nazis in the Holocaust, but they brought over Abe and helped him, got him a wife there, and set up a store for him. So that's what my family. If there was an Israel, certainly my father would have moved there. But my father and my parents were so excited when Israel was created. They almost danced for joy. And my father always contributed all that the family possibly could do, large amounts of money to Israel, and always dreamt of Israel, and I did too. I grew up in Washington, over top his little grocery store, and that, which then became a liquor store, and profits were better that way. And it was in a dangerous neighborhood. It was in middle Washington. In those days, I was born in 1931. You can calculate the fact that I am a very, very old man. And I have an old man. I'll introduce myself about an old man who my mind is dissolving. My memory is in tatters. I still can talk and I still can write, and I'm writing a book together with my mate. We're married, but not really, because I met her because I was doing a lot of consultations when I grew too old to see patients, ongoing patients. I sent out a notice on Facebook that I would be willing to meet with people for a single session. So I met with her, and she was impressive in the session. Her English is perfect, and then she said, "I'd like to meet with you a second session." I think I don't do any second sessions. It's a single session, but somehow something about her is something charming about her. So I saw her for a second, and then we started a correspondence. She was starting to write to me, and I was at that point. I started to write stories about these people I was saying I saw about. Almost 350 consultations, single session consultation, and about 30 or so of those, I decided I'd write a story about them. So I'd write the person and say, "Listen, I want to write a story. Would you?" And I'll send you the story. Would you please give me your permission? So I sent her the story that I'd written about her. First of all, I was willing to see her a second time. That was very unusual. But then we started Zooming together. was I think one of the world's first Zoom romances. We started Zoom sessions, and then one day she announced to me, and furthermore, by the way, the story she wrote about me was extremely good story. So we started, she started saying, and then one day she announced that she was coming to visit me. I mean, it's not really requesting that she she's, I am coming. And so she came to see me, and once she came, we have been inseparable since then. My wife had died years before that. 4 years before that, I was in great grief. She came into my home from the airport, and immediately we fell in love, and so she stayed with me, and we were extremely close, and then we began writing about our sessions, the first stories that we had written, the first 2 stories of one another, and then began writing stories. When she wrote a story, and I'd read her story, and then I'd comment on the story and what it stirred up in me, and then she read my story. So it's a very unusual way, and we were, and furthermore, she was tremendously valuable, because I'd write something in some story, maybe story number is 30, and she said, no, you said that in story 13. I mean, her memory was unbelievable. And furthermore, she had 2 things that most attract me about women. When I said that to any of my friends, they all say, "Oh, we know what that is." They know me very well. I have a kind of hypersexual side, and they say that when they know exactly what I'm talking about, it's her breasts. I say, no. The 2 things that she really has about her that like the IQ. She turned out to be one of the smartest people I've ever known, and her memory was extraordinary. She remembered everything, where mine was already then. I was born in 1931, and you can see that indeed a very, very old man at this point. So where were we? So anything. So
what the question was that what made you decide that you want to do this event?
Oh, this event. All right. Well, this event was it's a story of how important Israel has been to me in my own fantasy, because my parents, when they escaped from Russia, it was back after World War I. They decided there was so much anti-Semitism everywhere. They had to get in. If there had been Israel, then it would have been absolutely the place for them, the homeland for the Jews. However, there was none at that point. And my parents had a brother. My father had a brother, Meyer, who had a little grocery store in Washington. And Meyer said to him, come to Washington. I'll set you up with a grocery store. And so my father came to Washington, D.C. with my mother. And they came to Washington. And then they brought over my father's sister, Tante Hannah, again from Russia. And then they brought my tante Lena, who came over. And then finally, after the war had started, they brought over my Uncle Abe, and his wife and children were going to come, but the Nazis killed them, and wiped out this whole town. They'd come in a town called Provision, and so Abe came over too at the end of the war, and they found him a store and a wife, and set him up. So my family has always loved the idea of a land for Jews, and my father always tried to contribute everything that he could to Israel. So the idea that to speak to Israel brings up a very strong feeling to my heart. I have such a keen wish that the Jews had their own homeland. And so when I thought of that, and so I was delighted to participate in this discussion, and then delighted to be together with Sakino here, because it's an unbelievable story about what's happened here, because I wrote about this. Have I talked about this yet here?
What?
Have I talked about you very much in here?
Yes,
I have. Okay. So my memory, as you see, is not much left of it. But anyway, I've been together with Sakino. We've been writing this book together, and it'll be the most moving and best book I've ever written.
Definitely waiting for this book to show up.
Yeah.
I'm really waiting for that. Yeah. Thank you so much for this sharing of your family story. It's really touching, because I don't know if many of the people here know about your background and about your family story. And yeah, I'm really touched. It's really just being here with you and this presence in your heart. So it's really, really touching me. So thank you. Thank you so much. And also knowing Sakino's background and her connection, a special connection to Israel.
Yeah.
And I think it's an unbelievable story. And so how you, Sakino, arrived to Israel and your connection with Israel. Yeah, please share a little bit.
Yes. Well, I will start with answering why I agreed to do this. When these atrocities happened on the 7th of October, in the beginning, I wasn't really aware. And then we both fell sick with COVID on the 9th. So for the first week of all that happened, I was completely knocked out and bedridden, and Irv too. But then after a while, I became aware what had happened, and it shocked me to the bones. And what really happened inside of me, I felt an incredible sense of helplessness, like helplessness, and it reminded me of a situation 22 years ago, when I was in a conference in Würzburg, I think, where I met two people who changed my life, and their names were Dan Baron, an Israeli professor, and Sami Adwan, a Palestinian professor. And the two of them were giving a lecture, and 2001 was the second Intifada. And they had managed to come to Germany together. And they were telling the story of the Israeli-Palestinian conflict situation and what happened right now. And at that time, there was a lot of killing and abduction of Palestinian people. And it was heartbreaking to listen to the two of them, how they had become friends, despite all that had happened in the country. So whatever it was, after their lecture, I went up to them and I said to them, I cried. And I said, I would like to help. I don't know what to do. And he said, your tears are more than enough. And that came up in my mind again. And even then, at that time, I thought my tears weren't enough, but I couldn't do anything. And now I felt the same. Yes, I'm heartbroken seeing what happens. And it reminds me why I came to Israel in the first place, because that started when I met Dan Baron and Sami Adwan. I said, I want to come to Israel. And until that point, I had not been aware that I come from a family of Nazi perpetrators, because it was completely silenced in our family. My father was a Nazi, and my father killed Jews. And I don't know what he personally did, but he was part of a unit that was sent to Minsk, White Russia, from 1943 to 1945, and they were killing all the Jews there. And Irv's family comes from that area, those two little shtetls. And when I met Irv in the first meeting, we touched that issue, and I could see how shocked he was that he was all in a sudden confronted with something he had to try to avoid all his life. He didn't want to deal with that. And I had been dealing with it for more than 20 years. So we met in that theme, Holocaust, Nazi perpetrator descendant meeting a survivor or a child of a surviving people from that area. And in my mind, I was thinking, my goodness, maybe my father killed family members of him. So if the two of us meeting, and then we had this, he talked about that, we had the second meeting, and it soon became so clear that what happened between us is we are healing each other. We are, and then we fell in love. First we became friends, and our whole relationship is soaked in the Holocaust. And now he's in Berlin living with me, and I wasn't aware what a shock that is for him. We seeing the Stumblestones, we visited the memorial, and it's kind of somehow we are in our relationship, we are healing generations of wounds in our families. And my coming to Israel and working there was motivated highly by wanting to make amends for my father's things, deeds, or whatever he was involved in. By the way, my whole family is not talking about it. I'm an alien in my family because I am daring to talk about it. And and now sitting here with you and seeing what happens now, and I'm not taking sides in terms of these are the bad ones, these are the good ones. I think all the people on both sides are victims of something, but now I'm I'm speaking to Israelis, and I just want to show that I care. That's why I'm here. I want to show that I care, that my heart is with you, the ones who are in pain, in agony, in fear, and have lost family members and friends. And you told us yesterday how many people you know that have lost many people. And it breaks my heart. It breaks my heart. And that's why I'm here. That's why I'm with you in this hour of sharing, because I don't have recipes what to do. There are so many recipes out there, and I think whatever helps someone to deal with the situation right now, good, do it. Doesn't matter what it is. Yesterday I read two beautiful things on Facebook. One was, there's this restaurant that I really like in Tel Aviv, Achim, and brothers. And those two brothers, they wrote a big contribution in Facebook that the moment on the 7th of October that happened, they closed the restaurant and they became volunteers, and they have been cooking 250,000 meals for people in need. And he wrote how many volunteers came and told us yesterday how many volunteers help in Palestine. And this is what I think, what we are here for, to just be with each other and help whatever we can do. I cannot do practical stuff, but I can, because I'm not there. But I can be here and say my heart is with you. So.
Yeah, this is very, like we told you yesterday, we had our conversation yesterday, and as we shared with you, both Chaitanya and me, that actually, we invited people here because you're both highly qualified therapists, and maybe people came here because they are therapists themselves and they are working with people that are fully traumatized right now. And maybe people came here because they just don't manage to sleep at night. Because I told you yesterday, it's like the whole country is awake during the night. It's unbelievable. Then it came up to a point where people actually volunteered from the States and from Australia to support Israelis at night that are awake anyway. So I feel like this whole country is there. There's also old wounds that are being triggered, like the Holocaust. And it's a very traumatic country and a very traumatic event, and traumatized people trying to take care and support other traumatized people. And as we shared with you yesterday, whatever the reasons that brought all these people here this evening, maybe our mind wants to know some more, and the cakes or... But actually what feels now for me is that just having you here, just looking at you and being inspired by your own personal story, and Irv, your family story is really touching. And I know, as you said also yesterday, how your family supported Israel. And knowing you, Sakino, and your story and your background, how I met you in Israel, when I fell in love with you, also not only you, Irv. Yeah. And now seeing you and knowing your love story, and it really makes me feel more like there's a certain hope also. So I'm feeling nourished just by being here with you and just feeling your support.
Thank you.
So I would actually like, because this is not just a conversation between us three, and there are many other people here. I would like to open this space for maybe some questions coming from people that are here with us. So Chaitanya, maybe if you can just open the chat, and then, as I said, you can write down in Hebrew or English, and down where you can read those questions. So the chat is open. If somebody wants to ask something, while people are writing down the questions, I just want also to tell that on Facebook, if somebody also wants to write the question, I just forgot for a moment, we're also broadcasting on Facebook, so there's also a possibility to write in the comments there, and then Dharma will be picking up those questions. I'm sorry we will not be able to answer all of them, but whatever it's possible.
Well, I would like to present the first question, and it's about how do we communicate with young adults, with kids, what's going on right now? How can we build a bridge for them to be aware without getting in panic? Well,
I can't.
Well, not exposing them to too much, keeping them out of the facts as much as possible. Give them their space to play without neglecting. But I liked very much, Tarika, what you told us yesterday about how you do it with Nilay. Not that there is a story of I don't know what was it,
music in the sky.
Music in the sky that played where whenever this music comes, he can dance to it. So it depends on the age. When they are older, they understand, of course, much more. But I think, like with everybody, not only children, give a feeling of you are not alone. You can share your fear. If something comes up, come to mommy or come to an aunt or come to daddy or to an older sibling, and we will be together in this. I think whatever I have learned about trauma, and this, of course, is an extremely traumatic situation, is the most important thing is not to be alone, to be together, to hold hands, to do something, sometimes even practical things, distracting from the horror, eating together, or reading a fairy tale, or anything, dancing, singing together, humming, chanting. So there is no one fits all recipe. But don't let the children be alone in this. Just be with them. I don't know if that helps, but that's all I can say at the moment. Want to say?
I can't say more than that. My parents worked in the store very hard, but every Sunday they got together with all their family, all people who escaped Europe, and they met and the men played pinochle and the women played canasta, and if there weren't enough canasta players, the men had to give up their pinochle, and the children all played together, and we overheard a few things they talked about, and so that's when we first learned a little bit about some of the horrors that happened. So I had a very close cousin who was just a year and a half younger than I was, and he had been my dearest friend. He died a couple of years ago. But we always what our parents had gone through.
Can you please speak up?
No, anyway, but their nights together with all the people who had escaped the Holocaust once a week were very, very important nights for them to be together with the others who had gotten away. And one came over and set up a store, pulled another one over and another one over. So there was this Jewish community in Washington, and they had others that they could talk to. And that was very, very important to them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think why I was just thinking, why am I focusing so much on togetherness? Because in my child, I had a tremendously traumatic childhood with a lot of violence. And I never had anyone to talk to. And that was the worst.
Yeah.
If there's no one that you can talk to, that's really the worst. So for me, togetherness, community, sticking together, doing things together, like what I said, the story of the Harim people, brothers, the volunteers who come together and help each other. It does not change the horrors that happen, but it helps to not to be exposed to this total feeling of helplessness, because that's terrible. And then shame and guilt come on top of that. Shame of not being able to do something, shame of, how can I live my life normally when others are killed or in captivity? How can I do that? So talk about it, share, so you are not alone with it.
Thank you so much for both of you for this answer. I find it, people also write very comforting and very reassuring. So, maybe we'll have the time for one more question, Dahmer, if you can.
I have so many good questions. It's really
I know it's difficult to choose.
I'm seeing many different phrasing of the same question, so I'm trying to bring the essence of it. We have many people that are trying to deal with a question of morality, the question of the anger that comes out towards the perpetrator, and how can we deal with our feeling of wanting I don't want to use the word revenge, but
oh, now I get it. Yeah. That's of course you feel that. Of course you want revenge. Of course you want to hit back. If someone kills members of your family, you want to kill them. And I don't say suppress those feelings. Allow them. Express them. Do maybe some techniques that help you expressing them. But of course you shouldn't act on them. But allowing the feelings is healthy. Suppressing any feeling is unhealthy. And I find in a situation like that, you have those feelings. So stand with them and allow them to be there. And again, share them with others. Yeah. Share them with others. Listen, because everybody has those feelings. We are not saints. We don't say, oh yeah, you killed my sister, please kill me too. Oh, I forgive you. That's nonsense. We have those feelings, those harsh revenge, hate feelings. Talk about them, share them. Don't keep them to yourself. But of course, don't go out and get a gun and shoot. I was, what you say? And it is hard. And there is no excuse for what happened. There is no excuse for what Hamas did. The killing of innocent people. There is no excuse for that.
I think also there is something that coming up here that I see also in the chat. People are asking, and it's important for me to express, as that there is a difference. Everybody speaks about a war that has started and how unfortunate the situation is, and yet it's not just a war that started in a vacuum. There was a very horrifying event full of I don't even want to express what has happened, and not to traumatize people that haven't heard a lot of what has happened, and how to deal with I think there's a lot of question coming up. Not only the need to revenge, but there is also a need that to be seen and to be heard in our pain, and to be understood somehow, since I think it has to do with this feeling of again, everybody speaks vacation that has been here since eternity, but something different has happened. There was a little Holocaust happening here in Israel. Mm-hmm. And it's not just another situation, political situation. And that's why I feel that people are very intrigued. And they are very also reactive, even when they hear other people speak about, we're seeing the full picture, or being not taking a stand. So maybe if you can a little bit elaborate about that.
Well, I think that's exactly what happened with my family, how they got together once a week, and they talked about it with one another, and they went over this so that they had others to talk to. Keeping it to yourself is just never going to work. When you share it with other people, and other people who really understand this, it's so much better off. And that's an important part of dealing with it in therapy. You share it with other people, and you don't keep yourself. I express exactly what I'm feeling about what the person says to me. So I'm very open if they hear and now what's happening between you and me. In all these hundreds of consultations that I did, I always did that. I said, how are the two of us doing today? What's it like for you? How do you feel that? And so we're talking about what's going on between us right now. So I tend to be very open, an open therapist, and share my feelings. And the therapists are shocked by this, especially the old-fashioned psychoanalytic therapists who, sit back on the couch to listen to the person. But they're all very unsettled with me, but I've taken that stand from the very beginning of my writing about therapy.
Yeah, and what you said, Tarika, recognizing the suffering, recognizing the pain, and as you said, a small Holocaust has happened.
Yeah.
And you don't have to go, as you said, you don't have to go long-term into history and the development of all of this. Yes, that's very clear. But right now, people are suffering, and they need comforting. And that's what I understand is what I'm here for.
Yeah.
I'm here with you. I stand with you. I hold your hand. I'm willing to cry with you. And that's all I can say.
Thank you. Thank you so much for that. I really feel what you're saying, and I think everybody here can really feel this. There's not a certain technique of how to do. There's no recipe.
No, there is no recipe. The only recipe that I can say I would put into the word be human. Be human with each other.
So maybe, Dharma, if you have, we said 2 more questions. So maybe the last question, because I'm looking at the time and I want to respect the time that has been given us by Sakino and Irv. So one more last question.
So many therapists in the audience are asking what would be the best way to support their patients, and how can they restore a sense of safety in this traumatizing time, and what would be the best way to help keeping the trauma that is happening right now from becoming post-trauma.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, I think it's a repetition,
Mm-hmm.
a bit of what we've just been saying.
Yeah.
To be open, to be human,
Yeah.
to reveal your feelings about this, to hold nothing back, and just be, be very open with how you respond to this and what feelings it stirs up in you.
Mm-hmm.
So just the opposite used to happen in old-fashioned psychology.
Sorry, I cannot hear you very well.
It's just the opposite of what used to happen in old-fashioned psychotherapy or psychoanalysis, where you kept your distance from the person. With me, I tend to be another human being, listening to them, expressing what feelings this stirs up in me, and share everything about this and what's happening between the two of us. So I can only say that you very receptive and you respond very openly to the other person.
And adding to that, or just making that, because what that does, when you are open with the other and you share how you feel about what happens in the other, what it creates is a tiny moment of feeling safe. And that, in those times, I think, is the only thing you can do. You cannot create safety outside the therapy room for them, but you can create tiny moments of safety in the connection between the two of you.
Yeah.
And I even would add, if it's appropriate and if it feels right, make physical contact, hold hand, or put your foot next to the foot of the other.
Sure.
If the person is open to that, don't do it uninvited, but show that you care as much as you can and go beyond your limits of being a therapist. Just be human and cry with the other, because you can't do anything else in this moment. Be there for them. That's what I can say. As we do right now, we are holding hands, because this is also very demanding for me.
Yeah.
And for me, it's very comforting that I sit here and can hold his hand, which we do all the time anyway. We are very physical. And I know many people are physical too. So as a therapist, just go beyond your stupid limitations of you can't be physical with clients. yes, you can. If you get the agreement of the client, you can. And even if it's against the official laws, dare to be human.
Dare to be human, I think, with this sentence, we will conclude this evening, because I think it's a sentence that I would keep with me. Dare to be human, because sometimes it's really difficult.
It is. It's the most difficult when you are with someone who is suffering so much, because then you open your heart and you suffer with them.
Yeah. The world sometimes we experience is so unhuman sometimes, and then when we bring this quality of being human, then it will create ripples, of an effect. I hope humanity finally.
Yeah.
So, Sakino, I am more than grateful, beyond grateful. And I think I'm speaking in the name of all these people here with us and in the Zoom, in the Facebook. Thank you so much for taking this time and really making this event happening. And I know how demanding it is from you both, and you both also recovering from COVID. And I really, really appreciate it. You really touched my heart, and I love you both so much.
Thank you. I love you too.
And I really wish that maybe on another time we can all meet and share different topics. Yes. And I just want you also both to know that there are so many people here that you just seeing you and hearing you and feeling this energy that comes out through you being there. I visualize holding hands with you too. And I get supported, and I know that so many of us get supported. So thank you so much for that. I really, from the bottom of my heart, thank you.
Thank you.
And I just want, before we end, to remind that whoever wants the recording, there's a link in the chat room. Just you can put your details in there in Hebrew or English. And also Sakino's details are there, her website and email. And if you want to contact or ask something, and just saying how great support you are for me these days. So I invite you all just to approach. And maybe before just saying goodbye to Tanya, maybe you can unmute us all. So whoever just want to say thank you or goodbye, just to wave to Irvin Sakino. So do that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you
very much.
Thank you.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Be healthy.
Thank you.
God bless you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It was wonderful.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Really touched us. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. תודה רבה.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
תודה רבה.
You wish us all a good night, a peaceful night, a quiet night.
Amen.
Yes, I wish you well.
תודה רבה.
Shalom.
תודה רבה.
Hope to meet you here at האחים.
Yes, I hope to meet you at Haachim too. I like that one.
You are beautiful.
I'm not
you.
not doing advertisement, but
Good taste.
To Israel. Visit. תודה, שלום.
Waiting to have you both in Israel.
Thank you very much. We really appreciate it.
תודה רבה.
Thank you very much.
What do you think about the idea about existence precedes essence?
Thank you, Tarika, for hosting and organizing.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Thank
You.
Very touching.
Yeah, very touching. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you, Tarika, for your love and your friendship.
You are so beautiful outside and inside. Thank you very much.
And thank you, Chaitanya, who is always in the background.
Karma for her great support on this.
Thank you very much.
God bless you. Thank you. תודה רבה.
Thank you, love. Waiting for your book. Bye.
We are waiting for your book.
It will come.
Thank you.
So maybe I will let you go now and have a rest. So again, thank you so much. Love you so much.
Dr. Yalom, thank you for all your lessons.
Good night.
Thank you for all your lessons.
Thank you for the honor. It was great honor seeing you.
And for all your books.
For all the books, we have them all.
We have them all.
תגידי שלום ליאלום. תגידי שלום.
It's our honor to be invited.
שלום יאלום.
Definitely.
Thank you for everything. A teacher for life.
The book when the world cried. This is the book I'm waiting for.
The book I remembered that first came up to my mind towards this talk was I'm calling the police.
Oh, right.
Can you say it now? I can say it.
What it was the name? Bob Burger.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the question she's not going to answer.
טוב, צריך לסגור נראה לי.
Yeah, so I want to let you go, but people are keep on thanking you and I don't want to shut them up. So
It's fine. It's fine.
yeah, so we will just let them.
Okay.
I feel it's important now.
And I see so many names that I know looking at the top here.
Yeah.
Thank you all for coming.
Thank you very much.
I feel so moved by being invited and talking about this. So moved. Thank you. Thank you all for honoring us.
Thank you. I feel
Thank you very much.
very honored.
Thank you, beloved. Thank you so much.
And Takira, thanks for the initiative. Such a lovely initiative. Thank you so much.
תודה לך, טאריקה, על היוזמה. תודה רבה.
Good night. Bye-bye.
Okay, good night. I think we will have to close it, otherwise we can stay here forever.
So I put the leave button now.
Yeah. All right, I will end this meeting. Good night. Laila Tov. Good night.
Night.
Laila Tov.
Laila Tov.
Thank you very much. We really appreciate it.
לילה טוב.
Ganz gut.
תשלחו הקלטה למי שלא הספיק את הכל?
How do you ask for one?
You register for the recording, no problem.
Where can I do so?
Okay.
It's in the link in the chat.
Oh, okay. Thank you very much.
All right. Good night, everybody. Laila Tov.
I really appreciate it.
Peaceful night.
תודה רבה.
All the time in essence.
תודה רבה.